Rosé as a category has absolutely exploded in the last handful of years, and there's honestly a lot of misconceptions out there about rosé. Well, I'm Nathan Dale, wine expert with ABC Fine Wine and Spirits.
And I'm Paul Quaglini, also a wine expert with ABC Fine Wine and Spirits.
And we're here to tell you the truth about rosé.
It may seem like rosé is some kind of a new fad, but rosé has been grown all around the Mediterranean, and in particular in the Provence region of France, since Roman times.
One of the biggest misconceptions about rosé is that it's sweet, but the truth is that it's not. Not all rosé is actually sweet. Rosé can be made in a bunch of different styles, but don't mistake all rosé for sweet.
So what has fueled rosé's popularity in the United States here in the last 10 to 15 years? I think it's a combination of things, sort of a perfect alignment. Certainly Instagram has helped rosé gain in popularity. But I also think that when people travel, especially here in Florida, we have sunshine all the time. And when I open a bottle of rosé on an afternoon and go out on the back patio and the sun is hitting my face and I'm sipping on rosé, it transports me back to that time in Provence or that time in Italy. And it just kind of feels glamorous to drink rosé.
All red wine is made from grapes that have white flesh. So if that principle applies, rosé is done the same way, just kind of pulled back a little bit. And what I mean by that is when you crush red grapes, and you let them sit in the tank, it's called maceration, and slowly flavor and color and body and all these textures, all the stuff that is in wine gets bled into the juice from the skins. So if you're making maceration method rosé, you take fruit, you crush it, and you let it sit in the tank, and you bleed some of the color down in. But you don't let it turn into red wine. You stop it part of the way through, and you ferment it from there. And that's the maceration method for making rosé wine. Another method for making rosé is something called saignée method. And this is a little bit less used. It's used a lot in the New World. Saignée means to bleed. So you basically make red wine, and while it's macerating, while you're doing that, you bleed some of the liquid off. So you're effectively concentrating the red wine, but then taking that liquid that you've pulled out to make into rosé. So it's kind of a win-win, but you have to do it under circumstances where you want to concentrate that red fruit juice into wine and then use the residual liquid left over to make a rosé. It's pretty cool. The third method is only used in champagne. So I'm only telling you about this because it is a real thing, but it's blending. It's blending red wine and white wine together. You're not allowed to do that anywhere else but in champagne. So I guess I'll leave it there, but just know that that is something that occurs. One of the biggest misconceptions about rosé wine is that it's sweet. And also that the darker the color of the rosé, the sweeter it is. And that's just not true. Like 90% of rosé wines are actually made dry. And yes, there are sweet rosés, but just because it's dark in color does not mean that it's sweet. Great example would be this Tavel. This wine is made to be dark and bold. It's got a little bit of a higher alcohol percentage, and they do that with the maceration method, which we talked about earlier. But dark in color, dry, delicious, powerful, but not sweet.
Rosé is also a remarkably versatile food wine. You get all these flavors of strawberry and watermelon with good crisp acidity. Pairs really well with food.
It's a very ethereal, light and bright wine. I love to use it as an aperitif, or they can pair with chicken, seafood, soft cheeses. I keep it around the house at all times because you never know when the mood is going to strike for a glass of rosé. Have you ever wondered what the difference is between rosé wine and white Zinfandel? Before I answer that question, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and maybe leave some comments below. The only real difference between white Zinfandel and rosé is that white Zinfandel is sweet. Because white Zinfandel is effectively a rosé, some people use the term blush to describe that wine, but it is still a rosé wine. Don't mistake all rosé for sweet.
So now that you know a little more about rosé, come visit us at one of our stores or check us out at abcfws.com. And check out our other videos.